Hey, Josh here from Absolute. Today, let's take a closer look at some recently successful cyber attacks. Some of these, no one saw coming. To be sure, cyber attacks can be successful or extinguished from the very start. But the ironclad rule of cyber attacks is that they come in many forms, from all directions, and from incredibly different sources. Let's count down some of the more interesting ones. Number 5, Mafia Boys, denial of service. Michael Kaus, aka Mafia Boy, then 15 years old, claimed that he had unknowingly input several widely known IP addresses into a security tool he had downloaded from the web. Being a teenager, Kaus went off to school, and when he returned home to find his exploits were plastered all over the news. Denial of service attacks like Mafia Boy flood a site with traffic, disabling its ability to serve legitimate users. Yahoo, which at the time was the world's most used search engine, collapsed. Buy.com, eBay, CNN, Amazon were all brought down for several hours, costing billions in the aftermath. Number 4, Conficker. In 2008, this worm exploited a number of Windows operating systems. It then linked these computers together into a massive botnet, which was a new idea at the time. Conficker had several spoils of victory, including the creation of a whole new class of threats, and leaving many world leaders no choice but to call in favors from other nations to mitigate the attack. Number 3, Jonathan James. James breached the United States Department of Defense in 1999, stealing passwords, confidential messages, and software designed for space exploration and the US military. In the 1960s, John F. Kennedy famously urged the United States to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Well, mission accomplished. But 30 years later, NASA had to shut down its entire network for 3 weeks, costing millions in response to James's brute force attack. Number 2, Sony Pictures. The Guardians of Peace, or GOP, fessed up to the crime by releasing a trove of sensitive data, including personal information, messages and correspondence, executive salaries, and even snatching several Sony films. The group used a modified Shamoom wiper malware with a mechanism to wipe hard drives. Unlike typical goals of stealing data, this malware hurts victims by completely eliminating their valuable information. And number 1, Melissa. David Smith is, perhaps, the discoverer of phishing attacks. Taking to an America Online chat group, Smith posted a document claiming to have credentials to several websites, but whose true content was the Melissa virus. Melissa then went viral, spawning itself across global email servers, and several tech-savvy companies, including Microsoft, Intel, Lockheed Martin, were forced to shut down their email services after Melissa caused over $80 million in damage. Attacks are inevitable. Successful attacks are not. But when we lock our focus on cyber resilience, we can withstand the unending parade of attacks. And by persisting our security posture and maintaining line of sight, the attack surface is compressed and becomes an inhospitable place for an attacker to win. So what are your top 5? Drop them in the comments section below, and I can't wait to see who's on your list.